What's up YouTube? This is Shuttleboy and I'm back with yet another video. Today's video, we got a bit of an interesting subject to talk about today. Just something I kind of want to rattle off the top of my head. I've been thinking about this a lot lately, is just the state of clothing and sneakers in 2020. And I really want people that are watching this video to give me their thoughts down below on this, because it's just very interesting to me. And I want to hear your thoughts, as well as I'm going to share my thoughts on just the climate of clothing in 2020. Are you buying a lot of stuff? What are you buying during this time? And how that's really affecting everything. So let's get right into it, guys. Alright, so basically we're just talking about the year 2020. Obviously it's been a terrible year, but just in regards to clothing, obviously during this time there's a lot of uncertainty with financials and stuff for everyone. Whether you're someone that's rich or poor, somewhere you're a little uncertain of what's going on with you financially. And especially towards the beginning of the year, just it was so confusing, and just you really didn't know what is to come next. Now we have, I think a lot of people have a little bit of an idea of what's coming for them. There's still some uncertainty right now still though, but because of that, obviously when you have financial instability, to get technical here, you cut back on spending in general, because you don't really know if you're gonna have enough money for your next meal, for paying for your house, whatever that is. So naturally the non-essential things that you pay for, you cut back on. And one of the things that's just taken such a huge hit from this whole situation, believe it or not, are apparel and sneaker brands. Footwear and apparel, all brands, all clothing brands in general have taken a huge hit from this, whether they're a Nike or a small brand. I'm sure a lot of people that represent smaller clothing businesses have, at least some people have seen some close down. Well, even the big ones are really struggling right now, like Nike. And I'm a first-hand account of seeing that, because I mean, obviously we've seen in the news that their profits are just really down now, as well as with any other brand. But on top of that, not only that, but just I've bought things from Nike's website since the pandemic hit, and they can't even ship things out very fast anymore. They warn you and say that this might take a while, and it takes way longer than you would think, especially being from a brand that's just really on top of everything usually. And that's what's really shocking to me. I mean, I know a lot of people noticed probably towards the beginning, everyone that has Amazon Prime and stuff like that, they weren't able to get us that 2-day shipping really for anyone for a long time there. Now it seems like it's about back to normal with that. I mean, I haven't had any issues with that, but just seeing those companies that their infrastructure is just so perfect, it's just so knotted down, and there's really no inefficiencies to them, to see them even struggle with things like that just shows how hard it's been. And why I talk about all of this is because I really want to know with you guys, just the basic consumer that watches my videos, how has that affected you guys? I'd love to know down below. I mean, you don't have to get super personal and say like I lost my job or anything. I mean, you can share that if you want, but I'm not trying to ask that. But I want to hear more specifically with the clothing, how much are you buying now in 2020? And do you see yourself buying more once the pandemic is really over, if that's even a full-on off switch we can turn? But personally for me, I gotta say, I've really cut down on spending in general. I'm still spending, there's no doubt on that, but it's just not nearly as much as I used to. You guys know I used to cop a ton of sneakers, but right here I'm gonna show you guys the 4 sneakers that I have bought over here. And yes, that's right, I've only bought 4 sneakers in all of 2020. And while I will say that kind of stinks, I really wish I was buying more, it's not the end of the world, and I'm sure a lot of you guys feel that way as well. But I'm not even sure if all of these were in 2020, to be honest. I can't remember the start of the year all that well, but none of them are really all that crazy. One of the first shoes I bought in 2020, I think, and it might have been the tail end of 2019, it came out on Christmas, I believe, but that was the New Balance Omnis. And to be honest, I barely worn this one. It was supposed to be a sneaker that I was going to wear for basketball a ton, but obviously, I mean, we can't really play basketball indoors anymore, and I wanted this to be an indoor basketball shoe. And I still love these. I'm really hopeful that I'm gonna be able to wear these a ton in the gym when it's safer to be in the gym and play basketball. But yeah, I believe that was my first sneaker. My second sneaker is a very non-hype sneaker, being another New Balance sneaker, the Fresh Foam Crag TR, which I just got this because it's a trail sneaker, and being in that Midwest, it really helped me through the winter because of that bottom being just so durable and good for the snow and stuff like that, and it's still comfortable, it's still waterproof. Really love that. And furthermore with that, I mean, the next sneaker I ended up getting is I was in Chicago area during the time of All-Star Weekend, sort of, a couple weeks after that. But I had to get a sneaker during that. That was sort of like this spring break time period just before the pandemic hit, and boy, I'm glad I copped these when I did, because I mean, that was the last time I could really go into a really cool store and buy some sneakers and try them on and stuff. And yeah, I really like this one. I'm so happy I own a LeBron 7. And last but not least, this was my most recent pickup, and I haven't even worn these yet, but the Vans Chukka, this is the Simpsons collab, supposed to look like Bart's sneaker. I really love these. I said I was gonna wear them a ton, but then I realized I don't really go anywhere all that much, that I don't really need to be wearing anything super cool right now. I can keep my shoes DS. But that's one of the positives I will say in all of this is, I think a lot of you guys can agree with this, is it's keeping our clothes clean and stuff. We're not wearing them as much, so now these can last a little bit longer. I know a lot of people are saving their outfits and stuff during this time, so they can break them out when it's a good time, when people are actually paying attention to stuff like that. But once again, I really want to hear, I know this video is all over the place, I really want to hear how this is affecting you guys. Have you guys been buying a lot of sneakers? I mean, another thing too is, have you guys been buying a lot of clothing? Because that's a cheaper price point. People can buy clothing usually a lot easier than they can buy sneakers. Are you guys buying clothing? I mean, with these Golf Wang drops, have you been buying from the Golf Wang drops? I haven't bought any Golf Wang, I think, this whole year. I think the last thing I bought was the Giano, which was last year. So I personally, I'm not super affected by the situation, but I'm being more cautious. And do I think this is going to continue with clothing and footwear in the future? I think it's going to some degree, because you kind of have to now. I mean, it just really showed everybody that you never know what's coming next in the world. So you got to be prepared, and one of the things you got to be prepared with is your money. So I think going in the future, people are going to be buying just a lot less in general. Even when it gets back to normal, people will buy more than what they are right now, but I think people are still going to buy less than what they were. Nothing will ever be exactly the same as far as this goes, and I think the footwear and clothing industry is going to have to react to this, because they're not going to be able to put out as much clothing as they did 2 years ago, and they're going to try, I think, to go straight back to it once this is all over, but I don't think that's really going to work out for them as well as they think. But let me know your thoughts down below and your experiences. I'd love to hear that. I can't wait for a moment where I can go back into a sneaker store and just look around and try shoes on and buy them, because I just really love that. I love looking at them in hand, and I can't really do that right now. But please hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video, guys, and please subscribe if you haven't already for more Golf Wang, more sneakers, more clothing, more Shuttleboy. And this is Shuttleboy, guys. I'm out, guys. Peace.